Imagine a machine so brutal that its mere existence sends chills down the spine of those who dare to approach it. Today, you might know of this invention because it's associated with health and wellness. It's a treadmill. So join us today as we unravel the chilling transformation from a dark tool of torture into a celebrated emblem of wellness. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. Also, if you like to support the channel, you can do so on my Buy Me Coffee Patreon page in the description below. I have a new channel, One Mic 2. Please check that out for audio-only episodes. And let's get started. In the early 19th century, an engineer by the name of Sir William Cubitt observed a problem that captured his innovative spirit. Born into a family of millwrights, Cubitt was no stranger to the workings of machinery and to the importance of hard work. As he walked the corridors of British prisons, he noticed something that troubled him deeply: the idleness of prison. These men, confined to these stone walls, had nothing to do all day but compliment their misdeeds. And Cubitt believed that he could transform this wasted time into something beneficial. So in 1818, Cubitt introduced the world to his solution, the treadwheel, later known as the treadmill. It was a large cylindrical structure, much like a water wheel turned on its side, but the wheel was not designed to harness the power of water, but instead was harnessed by the steps of prisoners. This design was imposing. Prisoners stepped along large wooden spokes, using their weight to turn the wheel, and as they walked, it was akin to climbing an endless mountain. The wheel rotated and the powerful machinery grinded corn or pumped water. Set up in places like Brixton Prison, these treadmills could hold up to 24 prisoners at a time, side by side, each lost in their own gritty battle against the wheel. The repetitive climbing was grueling. Prisoners worked up to 10 hours a day in the summer, and the sounds of labor was a constant echo in the air. The wheel wasn't just a machine, it was a test of mental and physical endurance. Cubitt's invention was rooted in the belief of the era that hard labor could reform the wayward. However, as years passed, the harsh realities of the treadmill's impact began to surface. The intense strain and dreadful monotony of the task led to exhaustion, injury, even death to those condemned to its turns. What started out as a mission to reform through labor morphed into a mere vehicle of punishment, a cruel tool of enforcement disguised as virtue. And this is when the treadmill takes an even more sinister turn when it crosses to the Caribbean and the southern United States of America, where it found a place on plantations and enslaved labor camps. It was no longer even a tool of reform. It became an instrument of sheer torture. Modifications were made to make the slope steeper and the sessions longer, all under the brutal overhead sun. Enslaved feared the treadmill more than the overseer's whip. It was a public spectacle of pain, a stark reminder to anyone who stepped out of line. Henry Bleeby witnessed these horrors and documented the ordeal of Susan, an enslaved punished on a Jamaican plantation for allegedly stealing a pimento. Day after day, for 9 hours a day, Susan climbed the endless steps of the treadmill. Amidst the shouts and the relentless turning of the wheel, some figures like Frederick Douglass narrated the plight of other enslaved people like Lewis, punished for what was termed laziness. Douglass described the extreme speed of the treadmill and the danger that it posed. Any who couldn't keep up with it would fall, suffering under the relentless turning of the monstrous wheel. Their crime and punishment was meant to teach obedience and docility, yet it only highlighted the cruelty imposed upon them and many other enslaved people. According to James Hardy, one of the operators of the history of the treadmill, apparatus's notoriety is not because of its brutality. It was not a dungeon torture device. Rather, it was a relentless monotony inherent to the treadmill's operation, not its harshness, that made it such a dreaded instrument of torture. As the century turned, the treadmill continued unabated. From a device used to eradicate idleness in British prison to subsequently being transformed into a harsh instrument of punishment for disobedient enslaved people. Although it never became as widespread here in the United States as it did in Great Britain, its punitive use persisted beyond even the abolishment of slavery. notably in places like Bellevue Hospital in New York, where they hosted a treadwheel. However, in 1913, a quiet revolution occurred with the patenting of the training machine in the United States, and this laid the humble beginnings for the modern treadmill. The transformation of the treadmill wasn't overnight. For decades, the shadow of the treadmill's torturous past lingered, yet the only thing constant is change. And by the mid-20th century, brought by pioneers like Robert Bruce and Wayne Quinton, who electrified the treadmill, transforming it once again, this time into a tool to diagnose heart and lung diseases. Their work was heralded as a new era where the relentless turn of the treadmill belt mirrored the beating of the human heart, both striving tirelessly in the pursuit of health. By the 1970s, the cultural revolution of fitness consciousness thrusted the treadmill once again into the spotlight. It was no longer a relic of coercion, but a beacon of wellness, a platform upon which the aspirations of healthier generations would tread. Central to this movement was Dr. Kenneth Cooper, who advocated for aerobic exercises, breathed new life into treadmill workouts, emphasizing their benefits in promoting heart health and overall physical fitness. Today, the treadmill stands reimagined not as a tool of coercion, but by choice. It's emblematic of the personal goals and the universal quest for just a healthy well-being. Once a relentless taskmaster, it now spins under our feet as we chase our own goals of health and fitness. Thank you. This has been One Mic History, and this is the story of the treadmill. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this, OneMicHistory.com. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so. Buy me coffee, Patreon page in the description below. Check out One Mic 2, my new YouTube channel with audio-only episodes. And I'd like to thank all my subscribers and my members. I love you all. Without you, none of this could be possible. And peace.